Today's topic is Adam and Eve mystery. Adam and Eve mystery. We have heard that Adam and Eve was sent out of the Garden of Eden because they ate up the fruit of the tree God told them not to eat. Was that the fundamental reason God sent them out? No. And their living was not instantaneously. This topic is very crucial, and I will likely take you through the beginning of God's creation. For the creation of man, God was well pleased to create man, even after the total depravity, sinfulness, and guilt of Adam and Eve, and despite the judgment and punishment God gave them, God still loved them. God gave them the judgment and punishment that results to their disobedience. This event was so significant, and this event caused Adam to change the woman's name. And after a while, Adam changed the name of the woman from woman to Eve. Listen to Adam's speech when he had not disobeyed God. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 23. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." That was the reason Adam gave her the name woman. Now listen to his speech when he had disobeyed God. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. This is another reason why he changed the name of the woman from woman to Eve. He said, because she was the mother of all living. In his first speech, he said, because she is the bone of my bones and flesh of his flesh. In his second speech, he said, because she was the mother of all living. He then knew at this point that she can conceive. And they were together, doing everything together as husband and wife at this point. God knew that the day they taste the fruit, they will start acknowledge themselves and also to do everything that happened between husband and wife. God only gave them the judgment and punishment because they disobey him. Because they disobey him. Because they disobey him. Because they disobey him. God still loves them. God will never stop to love man. God will never stop to love man. God will never stop to love man. It is the habit of God to love man. It is the nature of God to love man. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 21, this is when Adam and Eve have disobeyed God. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 21, unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothed them. Make coats of skins and clothed them. At this point, God didn't turn his back on them. He didn't hate them. Rather, he was the charter for their need. He provided for them. He gave them what they need. God made the coats of skin for them by himself. By himself. God was not have any problem with them anymore because they have already disobeyed him by eating up the fruits and he have judged them and gave them the punishment. And gave them the punishment. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16 down to 19 highlighted the judgment and punishment God gave them. After when all this have happened, both Adam and Eve and the judgment and punishment from God, they were still living in the Garden of Eden. God didn't send them out of the garden instantaneously while giving them the judgment or while judging them. No, he didn't do that. He didn't. He didn't send them out because they disobey him. And he didn't send them out because they ate up the fruits which he commanded them not to eat, and not because they start this what that happened between husband and wife. No, that was not the initial reason for God to send them out. God settled their disobedience by gave them judgment and punishment. Initially, God knew from the beginning that they will definitely eat up the fruits of the tree. And when they eat, they will start doing something otherwise. And that purpose was God created them to increase and multiply, to fill the earth. Let's hear God's speech. For the reason he sent them out of the Garden of Eden. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 22. And the Lord God said, behold, look at this, behold, the man is become as one of us. That is what caught the attention of God. Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, underline those words there. And now, not based on what they did before. That's not based on what they did before, but because of what they will do now. Those things they did before, we are judging them and we have give them the punishment for it. Now, what they are going to do now. Lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life. Underline those words. Tree of life. Tree of life. Tree of life. And eat. And live what? Forever. Underline that word. Forever. And live forever. Therefore, the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden. Therefore, the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. To keep the way of the tree. That was the reason. That was the initial reason God sent Adam and Eve out of that garden. God only sent them out of the garden for the protection of the tree of life, not to be eaten by them. And to avoid man obtain a endless life certificate. To avoid man obtain a endless life certificate. God said if they ate the fruit, man will live forever. There will be no more death for man. This was the reason God sent them